No.
You can't hear.
All right, so welcome into Priced Out. I'm Andrew Morgan, the host of Priced Out alongside Cornelia Swart, and I have a bad habit of not cutting my phone down.
I think actually my phone was calling your phone. I was butt dialing you at this very moment.
Yeah. So today we come into let you know the exciting news about the next episode of Priced Out. Every other week we drop a podcast for them, and so this week we're going to talk terms. Kind of fill them in a little bit on terms.
Well, the idea is that, on these podcasts and the conversation we have about gentrification, people use a lot of like really wonky language that people don't necessarily know what we're talking about, even when it's basic, like what's the definition of gentrification? What is the definition of affordable housing? What does that really mean? Is affordable to one person affordable to another? And so we're going to talk a lot about this sort of specific language that people use around these conversations about gentrification, affordable housing, revitalization, growth in cities, race and class.
All right, so make sure you join us tomorrow for that episode. Also, alongside just dropping that episode, we've got a lot of exciting things that are going on with Priced Out. We're going to be relaunching, so to speak, in different ways. In the past, we've always uploaded to Facebook a video, as well as, we put it on YouTube. And now we're going to go just straight audio using Anchor and other sources. Once you kind of get going with Anchor, it gets kicked out onto Spotify and what are some of the other platforms that they'll be able to see us on?
Yeah, we'll be on iTunes and on Stitcher and Spotify. So we'll relaunch the podcast in the coming week, and you'll be able to find us on all the conventional places where people go to find podcasts. It was great to be on YouTube.
Yeah.
But I think we're kind of grown beyond that, and now we've got about 17 episodes now.
18 episodes in.
18 episodes in. So those will all be available now on iTunes and other podcast platforms.
Yeah. And so we're really excited about this, about that relaunch. And alongside that, it kind of just goes in with our vision. The bigger vision is so that we can really get out there and push a bigger dream of just like really letting the stories of gentrification be told, because there's plenty of people out there who just, it's hitting them and they don't know what it is. And there's a lot of times you feel like, where'd this come from? To see it happening in your community and to know that, okay, this happened in St. Louis, this happened in, Harlem or Atlanta or any of these other cities that we talk to, it kind of gives you, some of the warning signs. A lot of my...
We're also recording live out of my mother's basement, apparently.
Yes. And it's time.
Hey, Ma, turn on the lights. We're still down here.
He can't have company after a certain time, apparently. But yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a really good. It's going to be a really bright future for us. Kind of just describing the stories of gentrification, because a good example is in Tulsa, Oklahoma. There's a lot of things that are going on there. And a lot of people have heard the stories from Priced Out, and we're able to see some of the warning signs. Mm-hmm. One of my favorite warning signs is bike lanes. Right. Almost everyone we talk to, they identify bike lanes as the beginning, or part of the beginning. So it goes a lot deeper than that, and that's why we want to have the conversation.
I was just reading an article about a guy in Lexington, Kentucky, who has a sign out front of his lawn that says, "I welcome gentrification." It's an African-American guy, owns his home, and he was just like, well, I want to see the neighborhood revitalized. I want to see, more investment come in. There's a boarded up building right next to his house. And I think through our conversations on the podcast and through the films, we show that people often kind of welcome gentrification at the early stages. It's kind of like a Trojan horse, where it seems like it's a good thing that's going to happen, but it rarely works out that way, 10 years down the line. So we want to be able to share those kinds of stories and to do more in-depth stories too, to follow, individuals who have compelling personal stories. Coming up in a future Priced Out podcast, we'll be talking to some folks who were displaced in Long Beach, California, in a follow-up to the Long Beach rent control story that we told you a couple of months ago. And even that story is an example of where we would like to go, where that story was a little bit more like This American Life and the way it was produced, a little bit more sonically driven, a little bit more sophisticated of a production than just talking over the phone with someone. And so all of that takes more time, and that's, we'd like to see the program mature that way. And what can people do to help make sure that we mature as a program?
Well, the number one thing is you can support us. The most easy way to support us is definitely like and share and let everyone know about the podcast. That's definitely the number one thing that you can do that costs you nothing, but just a little bit of time. But you can also help us monetarily through Anchor, which we're on Anchor. You can give through Anchor as well as Patreon. So
yeah, you'll be able to see on our Anchor page just a simple contributor support this podcast, which will make it easy for you to help ensure that we continue to do this kind of stuff. So just like everyone, please support below.
There you go. All right. Well, don't forget, we've got terms coming up next. So make sure that you it's a good educational show tomorrow. So we're really excited about this one. So make sure you not only listen, but share with 5 or 6 different people and get some young people involved in this. The younger you are, the more, to know these terms at a young age is going to be a great thing. So make sure you check out tomorrow's show.
Yep. And look for us on iTunes in the coming days. Thanks.